Bloomberg News has obtained what appears to be an unreleased Supreme Court opinion that would allow abortions in medical emergencies in Idaho. This became a question after Idaho passed a law placing some limits on abortion access after the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. Now, according to the Bloomberg report, this document briefly appeared on the Supreme Court's website, was then quickly removed. CBS News, it is important to note, has not yet independently obtained a copy of that Supreme Court opinion. I want to bring in our chief legal correspondent, Jan Crawford. Jan, what's the case, and did this thing that appeared ever so briefly on the High Court's website appear to be the opinion we're waiting for?
Answer your first question, your second question first. Yes, that does appear to be the opinion in what is one of the most closely watched cases of the term. The first case the Supreme Court has taken up about a state's ban criminalizing abortion since it overturned Roe versus Wade 2 years ago. You mentioned it was a case out of Idaho. The Idaho law is one of the most restrictive in the country, one of 6 states that ban abortion except to save a mother's life or in cases of rape or incest. The Biden administration sued almost immediately after that law took effect and said, wait a minute, there's a federal law that should override that. That federal law would require stabilizing care in hospitals that in some rare cases could include an abortion when the woman's health was also at risk. So they're saying there are other circumstances where Idaho must be able to perform these abortions. That is a big issue. These are unusual cases, fortunately rare cases, but women have complications in pregnancies. And at times, abortion can be the recommended method of treatment when their health also is at risk. So that was the issue. That's one of the, obviously, the stakes are high. And today, Bloomberg revealed that it had somehow grabbed a copy of what appears to be the opinions in that case that have not yet been released. The Supreme Court is not commenting on the specifics, but it did confirm that a document was inadvertently briefly put on the court's website, and the opinions in the cases, all cases, will be released in due course.
What did that opinion say in general, or should we even wade into what that opinion said?
No, I think we can wade into it because I feel like when you look at the document itself, there is a finality about it. It's formatted like an opinion. It has multiple writings from different justices. It looks to me, based on the argument, it's not a surprising outcome. And so I think this opinion, it may change some, it may change completely. But right now, this appears, I doubt that will happen because it does appear to have kind of this finality about it. And that means if this decision is the final decision and we get it tomorrow or the next day or sometime between the end of the term, they'll announce it from the bench like they do all their cases. They don't just pop them up on the website and take them back down. That means that the Biden administration has secured a win for now. It means that these rare abortions for medical emergencies when a woman's health is at risk can resume in Iowa, and this issue will then play out in the lower courts. The justices in the majority in this case, it's in this draft opinion, thought that the court had made a mistake by taking this case right now. There's still some unresolved issues in the lower courts. The Biden administration had urged the court not to take up this case. They did it anyway. And now the court is saying, you know what? We read the briefs, we heard the arguments, we shouldn't have gotten in. We're going to let this play out in the lower courts. And while that plays out in the lower courts, the justices say in this opinion that Bloomberg has, while this plays out in the lower courts, we're going to let an injunction be restored that a judge had put into place, blocking that part of that Idaho law and saying that these kind of abortions for medical emergencies where the women's health is at stake, those can resume.
There was a period of time of great uncertainty about this in Idaho. Now that uncertainty for a period of time may be lifted. Jan Crawford, thank you so very much. The Supreme Court also ruled today that the Biden administration and possibly future administrations could continue efforts to press social media companies to remove misinformation or what they term disinformation. By 6-3 vote, the justices tossed out a lower court ruling that found officials were using social media to limit conservative opinions or viewpoints. The case was brought by social media users in Louisiana and Missouri. They argued the administration was violating their free speech rights. Justices Thomas, Gorsuch, and Alito dissented in that opinion.